The days are long, and the work is hard. But Brooke Evans can't think of anything else he'd rather be doing.
Well, my love of the circus started really before I was born. My father had the opportunity to become a substitute ringmaster with one of the larger indoor circuses. And I think would have run away and stayed with the circus if it hadn't been for a mother that didn't want to travel. So when I came along, everywhere my dad went with a circus or a carnival to do interviews for his radio shows, I always tagged along. And we developed many friendships with people, both in the carnival and the circus industry, as I grew up. So I get into my high school years, I knew I needed some help. I could get a scholarship to get through college, but I was going to need to earn some money to do it. And I had the opportunity to join a carnival. I worked summers from Memorial Day to Labor Day and then back to school, and gradually got myself through college. And after a stint in the U.S. Navy, when I came out, I saved enough money and started buying rides of my own, and now I have my own carnival.
There are a few minutes each day, though, when Brooke does relax. And one of the things he likes to do is work on O-gauge models. For Brooke Evans not only owns and operates his own carnival that's filled with exciting rides and colorful lights, he's also the owner of a circus, one that's taken him over 7 years of work, 2 months at a time, plus these few hours he can put in while on the road to build. But unlike his carnival that's in 12-inch to the foot scale, his circus is in 1/4 inch to the foot scale, and it is an absolutely amazing project. In a 26 by 55 foot third floor room in his house, Brooke has modeled an exact replica of the 1946 Ringling Brothers Circus, complete with sideshow, free menagerie, and the big top, where there are 3 rings with feature acts including galloping horses and rearing elephants. In between the main rings, clowns are having trouble getting their car to run right, and a graceful lady balances atop a swirling ball. As fascinating as all this action is, though, it's the audience that are the real hit of this show. For believe it or not, there are nearly 10,000 hand-painted people sitting in the big top. And even more amazing, nearly half of them are sitting on folding chairs that actually fold. Chairs that are among the circus parts that Brooke has made while traveling with his real-life carnival. Everywhere you look, as far as the eye can see, there are people. And it is a truly awesome sight to see them, all in their differently colored clothes, sitting in the bleachers watching the show. And for the typical O-gauge modeler, who might have 100 or 2 figures on his layout, the idea of 10,000 people sitting on their own folding chairs is absolutely mind-boggling. Brooke has chosen to model the 1946 Ringling Brothers Circus, which had 3 main parts: the sideshow, the free menagerie, and the big top. When you arrive at the circus, you go first past and hopefully into the sideshow. There were always teasers outside the tent, and the barker did everything he could to entice you inside to see such acts as the strong man or the giant and his tiny companion. Brooke is especially proud of these sideshow banners.
I was lucky enough to get photos of the entire Ringling Brothers sideshow panels, took them to a good photo reproduction shop, and with the picture of the giant, explaining to them the giant had to be exactly 4 inches high, and everything else had to be in proportion to that. Sideshow banner line you'll see is actually 4 wagons that fold up, but they are true photo reproductions of the sideshow front on the Ringling Circus.
Once you've passed through the sideshow and midway, you buy your tickets and move through the marquee and enter the free menagerie. Here is where all the animals are kept, and you walk past them on your way to the big top, where you'll see the main circus performance. Brooke has set up this scene as if the circus was performing its last show in this town. The first section of the circus train, which includes the dining section, has already been loaded and is ready to move out. Circus workers are moving other wagons around to the siding for the second section of the train, which will load up immediately after the show is over. Although the circus is an important part of Brooke's layout, it isn't the entire layout. The first section of the circus train is about ready to move out towards the show's next city.
My circus train consists of 48 flat cars, 11 stock cars, and 26 sleepers. And they always say add to that the 3 advanced cars brings it up right to a 90-car train. This train was moved in 3 or 4 different sections depending on the moves and where they had to go. First section was the dining department, and immediately after the dining department and some of the layout wagons and stake drivers were loaded, by then the evening show would start and the menagerie would be torn down and loaded, and that finished the first section, would immediately leave and go on to the next town. So the dining department would be ready to serve breakfast by the time the next section got in. After that, the third section was loaded second. The second section loaded third. Now I know that sounds strange, but you have to get the props and the seats and everything else out of the big top, and the costumes and everything else. That all went on the third section, but that came out first, so the second, it was loaded. And then the big top, the poles, and the canvas for the sideshow wagons, were put on the second section and sent on ahead. The third section followed last, and that carried the performers also.
There's a smaller circus visiting T.J. Corners. This is its first day in town, and the circus parade is in full swing along Main Street. As our circus train passes through towns, there are lots of waving between friends in both shows, and the engineer lays on a happy salute with the whistle. Our circus train isn't the only one on this busy main line. It has just barely left T.J. Corners when this GG1 races through town on the eastbound track. There's a storm brewing over the village of Southbury, whose main claim to fame as far as the railroad people are concerned is Miss Vicky's house. The ladies won't be able to sit out on the porch for much longer, but at least they'll be able to get to wave to the engineer of this train before the storm hits. J.M. Thurgood's Lumberyard is another building that Brooke completed while he was on the road with the Carnival. Before we catch up with our circus train, let's wait for a fast E44 to run by. The dispatcher has switched it over to the eastbound tracks because of an electrical problem with the overhead wires on the westbound side. The catenary is the power source for these heavy electrics, and Brooke has spent many hours while on the road with the prototype Carnival, soldering the catenary wires and then assembling them on the layout during the off-season. The spectacular background scenery, by the way, was painted by Bob Brown. It's been a long day, but finally our circus train pulls into Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, its next stop. Easing past the busy roundhouse and turntable, the train slows down as it enters the freight yard and finally, with a sigh of relief from all on board, eases to a complete stop. The crew, though not completely looking forward to the unloading process, is happy at least to see that there are plenty of good storage tracks here and lots of room for the second and third sections of the train when they arrive. Unloading the Circus here should go relatively easy. Brooke Evans enjoys his work and travel with his real Carnival, and he found a great deal of satisfaction from working on his miniature circus.
The outdoor amusement business, including the Carnival I own and my miniature circus, are a big part of my life. I find that building the miniatures has a great deal of therapeutic value. I've often told people it saves me going to a psychiatrist. I can go off on my own and create things and enjoy the model railroading industry immensely.